Welcome back. This afternoon, you're listening to Todd Laborowitz Show, Real Estate Radio and Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. I am your host, Todd Laborowitz, and we're speaking to Greg Ford, Associate Broker of Keller Williams Capital Properties. He's went to University of Maryland, College Park, and he's been in the real estate business since 2002, and he's also president of GCAAR, which is Greater Area Association of Realtors. And his experience is working with buyers, sellers, investors, short sales, and foreclosure properties. He also has these certificates. One's a CRS and GRI and an ABR. I'm going to have to get into that with you, Greg.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more of what those things mean.
Sure. They're professional designations. Your CRS is your Certified Residential Specialist, and those are agents that have a proven track record of success. On average, they do about 3 times more transactions than your average realtor.
So explain that for a consumer looking to list their house or buy a house. Is these credentials kind of like things they should look for when they're dealing with an agent?
Absolutely. These are designations that will show skill levels or education levels, just like you might have a degree that indicates you've taken additional education.
And what about the GRI?
GRI is a nationally recognized designation. That is someone that's received one of the most comprehensive training programs available to realtors today. GRIs have superior knowledge in marketing and also acquired certain skill sets that separate them from other realtors.
And the ABR?
ABR is something, it's called an accredited buyer's representative. And that's a designation awarded through the Real Estate Buyers Agent Council, which was founded in 1988. And they promote superior buyer representative skills and services.
Okay. So before the show, we were talking about like real estate in general. And we were talking about like marketing luxury properties. Because in this area, we got a lot of nice houses.
We absolutely do. And that is becoming a market within itself.
Tell me a little bit more about that and that market of what's going on.
Sure. First of all, it's a very small segment of the market. Not that many people can afford to buy, a $1.5 million to $5 million home. It's an international market. We've got buyers coming in from all over the world. Sometimes they'll come in just to look at a house and either buy it or fly back out. It's really quite an interesting group of people that buy houses of this nature.
But to be the agent to work with those type of properties, are you dealing with the buyers or are you dealing with the listing?
I'm dealing mostly with the listings, and a lot of that's word of mouth, and it just occurs over time.
So what's it like listing a house that's $1.5 million to $5 million to... How's that different than a $500,000 house? Do you bring in a camera crew like MTV and say, here's your house?
First of all, your marketing is... very high quality photography. You probably would spend more to photograph that house than you would for your wedding pictures. Secondly, you would probably have some sort of catered event that you invite the other brokers to, where you might not do that for some of your less expensive listings. Some of the marketing in the higher end magazines, for example, you'll have very high quality pictures and photography in some of the higher end magazines. There are publications listed or just dedicated to listing higher end properties.
And it seems like you're getting a lot of these, that's where your niche is, and it's gravitated from the other types of properties that you deal with. What makes you different than the other competition that you're being able to be that listing agent?
I think it's a skill set you acquire with time. I think what happens is you work a few of these listings, you're successful, you learn, you acquire new skills. You find out what marketing works, what doesn't work. Maybe it's video. You learn to promote the lifestyle, not the house itself. Mm-hmm. And I think, that's one of the keys. In other words, they have a wine cellar, they have the pool, they have a putting green. You're promoting the recreational. They're thinking, wow, this is like my little oasis here in Potomac, or Bethesda.
So wait a second. I'm trying to think big here, and you just took me to the moon. These houses have what?
Well, I mentioned wine cellars. That's pretty standard. But I have some with putting greens. There's some with basketball courts. It's really quite amazing.
Putting greens?
Yes, so you can practice without having to go to the country club.
That's pretty impressive. I haven't seen a house with a putting green. I've seen it on TV, Entourage, on the movie.
Yeah, well, we have them.
Wow, I didn't even know they were in this area. So what geographical area do you cover? Is it just in Maryland or is it Virginia?
Well, I'm tri-licensed. I have broker's license in Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. But geographically, I really work Montgomery County, Washington, D.C., and Fairfax County, which would be mostly your McLean, your Great Falls, your Arlington, all of Washington, D.C., and then mostly the lower part of Montgomery County, Bethesda, Rockville, Potomac.
Great. Well, by the way, if you're just tuning in, I have with me Greg Ford, Associate Broker with Keller Williams Capital Properties. I am your host, Todd Laborwood, and you're listening to Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. Well, Greg, let's get into the Greater Area Association of Realtors. You're the president.
Yes, it's my big year, as they say. So.
And the nickname is GCAAR.
Yes, and really what GCAAR is it is the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors. And we are one of the largest local real estate associations in all of the United States of America. We have 8,500 realtor members, and we also have other industry-related professions, which could be appraisers, settlement attorneys, things like that. So total membership is about 9,000.
Now, are you looking out for the realtor or the consumers, like setting the consumers up with the right real estate agent? Like, who's your audience?
Our audience are really the realtors. We are the support for the real estate community in our market. Okay, so for example, some of the things we do, we say we are the local voice of real estate. But we also promote private property use rights. So in some ways, we are a lobbyist on behalf of, let's say, the homeowner in our area. But we also are responsible for education. We have to offer forms, contractual forms, things like that for a membership, lockbox systems, all the infrastructure that you need to be able to conduct real estate in Montgomery County and Washington, D.C.
So you're educating and keeping the real estate agents up to a higher standard.
Correct. The education kind of falls into two buckets. You have professional development where people want to get better at what they're doing. And then there are mandates that require that they have a certain amount of continuing education to make sure the practitioners out there are knowledgeable, on different changes in laws and things that occur in real estate.
Now, one of the things that a lot of people ask me, and I'm going to throw this out there, is when we've talked about this on the show before, like when someone's looking for a quality, good real estate agent, whether they're listing their house or buying a new home, people are turning to the internet or they're saying, hey, my mother's cousin's coworkers neighbor sells houses, you should give them a call, and they know nothing about them. Or I know if they came through a referral source like through me, I know real estate agents, I know exactly who. It's kind of like dating, setting people up.
Yeah.
GCAAR, is that a way that a consumer can turn to find more information about a real estate agent when they're picking and choosing who they want to work with?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. GCAAR has a link, and that link will allow you to look up a realtor. And basically, there are three ways you can look them up. You can look them up by designation, by company, which is the broker they work for, or by their name. So if somebody says, I have this great realtor, their name is Greg something, they can go into the database and be able to search. But if they know that that person has a specific designation, like we had talked about, an ABR or CRS, they could look agents up under that as well.
So it's a good information to help.
It's a neutral source. We don't recommend any specific agent. We just provide information about all the agents that are in our association.
Sounds good. Well, what I'd like to do is offer you, our listeners, an opportunity to get in touch with Greg Ford if you have any questions. Just call or text me at 301-467-8444. That number again is 301-467-8444. And I will get you in touch with Greg Ford, Associate Broker with Keller Williams Capital Properties. Well, I really do appreciate you being here. It's a great honor to sit across from you.
It's my pleasure. I actually really enjoy talking on the radio.
Perfect. Well, hopefully we'll be able to have you come back. Well, coming up next, we're going to have Jim Musgrave, Research Financial Strategies, and he's going to share with you our word on wealth.
You don't go through life with a paralyzing fear every time you have a financial transaction. So why is applying for a mortgage so scary? At Topaz Mortgage with Todd Laborwood, it is about educating and empowering you to get from point A to point B. Todd provides you with his exact closing cost, best interest rate, then invites you to shop around. Plus, if you call with questions, Todd picks up with the answers. Learn more at ytopaz.com. They are industry experts that care. Topaz Mortgage, NMLS 131548, licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, MC 5344, Washington, D.C., MLB 131548, Maryland 18330, Todd Laborate, NMLS 131497.